Hi everyone, and welcome back to Pause for Self-Care. Today I am continuing my deep dive into childhood trauma, and I'll be speaking more about narcissistic parents. So this isn't really a deviation from childhood trauma. It is still part of it, just to give you a deeper understanding of why you are like you are, and that you weren't at fault for what happened in your childhood. So yeah, I do hope you enjoy this video.
In all of us, in our hearts, there's love and light that we must realize. We need to feel, we need to use this warmth that could make bright our lives. In all of us, in our hearts, there's love and light that we must realize. We need to feel.
Okay, so today I will be speaking a little bit about narcissistic parents. If you follow me on social media, you'll see that I actually mentioned in my post on Thursday last week that basically it's time to speak about narcissistic parents. So I'm not really deviating from childhood trauma. I'm just giving you a little bit more information so you can understand your parents, basically see if there are narcissistic tendencies, and go from there. Now, I have about 22 points that I made about narcissistic parents. I recorded this video previously and it was like an hour long. So what I'll be doing is I'll watch the timer and I will only do a few points on here that I feel I can really elaborate with something that I haven't spoken about in a previous video, and the rest I will, well, actually all 22 points I will post on my blog. Now the link for my blog is always in the top of my description box at the bottom of this video. Okay, so let's get into this. And yes, have a look at last week because I did a blog post on my blog about narcissistic parents, and just to give you a little bit of insight into a narcissist and a narcissistic parent. Not really NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, because that is a completely different thing and you actually need a diagnosis for that. However, understanding the way narcissists work can actually help you heal through your childhood trauma if you find points that your parents would do. So I think it's important to broach this subject. Okay, so trying not to waffle here. I'm going to be reading a little bit from my notes, so please excuse me if I look down. Narcissists are extremely superficial and care a lot about looks and reputation. They require and often seek out constant and excessive praise, admiration, and validation from others. They're obsessed with how others perceive them. Abuse or neglectful narcissistic parents will act as the perfect parent if there are witnesses around, of course. But at home, well, they're far from perfect. However, once you're in a private position or they're alone with you, they can be cold, dismissive, mean, straight up abusive. This only shows that their niceness is a facade that they put on in public. Narcissists are extremely competitive. Now, yeah, they can be competitive with people, but they are definitely competitive with their children too. So yeah, if you did well at something, you were probably mocked and demeaned to make you feel less than, because that is what a narcissist is good at. They are really good at making you feel less than. Narcissists love you when it benefits them. For me, when I got love, I used to kind of wait for the other shoe to drop. You know, what does she want from me? How much money does she want? You know? That's a very interesting point, this one. Narcissists are incapable of genuinely putting someone else's needs ahead of their own. So why do they have children? They put their needs and wants first, always above their kids. And actually, I can't remember what video this was in, but my mother went shopping the one day. She said to us, listen, I'm actually going to come fetch you to go shopping, and we're going to get all our necessities. You know, she had this job, she had wonderful money coming in, etc. We waited the entire day from 9 o'clock in the morning when she left, just to pop out quickly until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And when she came home, I thought you were fetching us to go shopping. Ask your grandmother for what you want. But she got some beautiful blouses, some fluffy bunny slippers. But I needed underwear. Mine were holier than the Pope. Actually, I mentioned that story in my ebook when I wrote my story. Narcissists have to be right. They are always right. They know better than you. They know better than everyone. They're never wrong. And if you point out that they're wrong, my gosh, the fallouts. Narcissists don't seem to care about your feelings. Like I mentioned previously, they don't have the ability to have empathy for somebody else. They can pretend to very well to get what they want out of that person. Yes. The master of manipulation. So if somebody's been nice to you and their child says they're a narcissist, just remember that and see what you've given them to make them be so nice to you. Narcissists do not treat their children like their own person. They treat them like an extension of themselves. So in other words, if you as a narcissist child does something wrong, you are a bad reflection of your parents, according to your parents. They will belittle you and trod on you, possibly physically abuse you because you did something wrong in their eyes. And sometimes that something wrong might not even be something wrong. It might be something they did and they're simply blaming you for it. Because that is what they were really good at. Narcissists make you feel guilty for what they've done for you. This point I really, really wanted to bring up. For the description, do have a look at my blog, but this is my story. Literally, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I had a little bit of an issue with people around me that said they'd look after my son when I went into hospital. And my mother stepped in and said she'd help. Like big wow, because when my kids were born, she said, I'm not your built-in babysitter. Anyway, she fetched my son. He stayed with her when I had my daughter, and we collected him afterwards. Anyways, yes, she never let me hear the end of it because she let my son stay with her once in his entire life. He stayed with her. For those of you who have good grandparents, how many times have you stayed overnight with them? I can't count on all my fingers and all my toes how many times I went to stay at my grandparents and how much they loved having me over and how it was never a problem. My mother had one child of mine over for one night, and I heard about it every time she wanted to get something out of me. I did this for you. I birthed you. I. Yeah. Narcissists will manipulate you and take advantage of you for their own benefit. So they will turn around, basically you're their child, so they know how to push your buttons. Okay? My mother's favorite one was to make me angry because she knew that certain things trigger me to make me angry. And I am exceptionally protective over my family. Exceptionally. And I get very angry. And she would push me to a point where I would go for somebody verbally and say to them, look, what you're doing is downright wrong. You don't do this now. Da 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 da. And that person would look at me like I was a complete idiot. Meantime, the whole time I was just triggered on by my mother, the little barking chihuahua behind me. That is what they are. They are little chihuahuas pressing your buttons. Go on, go on, go on, do it now. And yeah, as long as she was in my life, she would push my buttons. And the thing is, when they push your buttons and you react in the way that they want you to, they'll turn around and say to you, you see how you are. That's how you are. You're a horrible person. Narcissists don't take responsibility, and they definitely won't apologize. They have no accountability. If you get an apology from a narcissist, it'll be because they want something, or because it's in a public space and it looks good on them. But go back into closed doors again, same shit, different day. Narcissistic parents control every aspect of your life, and yeah, it's amazing how they try to control. I actually mentioned to my kids the other day that, you know, she'd visited me actually just to see her friends because she lived in Joburg and I'm in KZN. She visited me when I was pregnant with my son, and to visit her friends. But anyway, she wanted to force on my son's labor so I'd give birth to him earlier. She kept on telling me the whole pregnancy, he's going to be born with thick hair all over his face because he's overdue. And he wasn't overdue. And that was the one time that I actually put my foot down. But yeah, they will try to control everything in your life. And it's crazy. It really is crazy. And they'll make you think that you're crazy through their gaslighting. So, yeah. Please do head over to my blog and have a look at the points. Narcissists demand obedience and have unreasonable expectations. I see so many parents pushing their kids to study and do this and do that because it's what they want and not really what their kids want. It pains me to watch it happen. It really pains me because you spend so much time in your work, so much time of your life, and it pays you to be happy at what you do. And that's what I want from my kids. But yeah, they demand obedience, and the moment that you are disobedient in their eyes, So in other words, not even if it's not disobedience, they will bring the Bible out on you. Well, that's what mine did. That you will obey your parents, and that your parents are above you and more important than you, and children mean nothing. Nothing. Yes. They'll bring religion on you like no other. They play favorites with their children, and they'll pit their children against each other. Now, read about this point on my blog. I will be doing a video about it because in my point on my blog, I mentioned the golden child and the scapegoat child. You can really go into depth about this. So yeah, please do have a look at my blog and subscribe to my channel if you want to know more, because I will be going into, how narcissists have a character for every person in their family and how they play things out. Narcissistic parents will give you their responsibilities. I will be also diving into this one. It's actually called parentification. I did a blog on parentification, but I want to do a video on it. Just purely speaking about parentification in technical terms. I did do a video on my parentification in my story. So if you want to know how my story was with parentification, you can go and have a look. It's in podcast version or in video. So have a look at the top of the my YouTube channel, and you will see their podcasts. There's a list there or a playlist. You can go to either one and hear those. Narcissistic parents will intimidate and punish you if you disobey them. And that's just an extension of another point. But in this point, they actually get abusive and I'd like to mention this again, because if you look at my story, I've mentioned this a lot of times, that what happens in my house stays in my house. I also mentioned this on my socials, so I have quite a bit of information on this specifically, so please do go and have a look, as the information might just help you. And that's it for this video. I will, as I said, have a blog going up, hopefully at the same time as this video goes live and premieres. Sometimes WordPress plays a little game with me and doesn't put it up, so I will check on that to make sure that it goes live for you. So you can check my socials, obviously Twitter and Facebook, but I am Pause for Self-Care on most socials, and you can follow me there to see what blogs I put up and posts, etc. So I just hope that the information I give you really helps you on your healing journey, and especially in this childhood trauma deep dive. So thank you so much for joining me, to newbies and the OGs. Until next time, remember to pause for self-care.